In today's class, we are going to see about pointers and functions. Let us continue. Okay, so now before proceeding to pointers and functions, we will recollect about the parameters used in the functions. Generally, we write functions to do any task so that whenever we want to do a particular task, we can call the function again and again instead of writing the code. When you go for function oriented approach, if you want to write a particular step many times in your program, it is not necessary to write the steps again and again. You can write one function, you can call the function whenever you want to implement that particular work. And you can call the function by passing something known as parameters. The parameters are going to tell the function what is the input on which the function has to do the work. And finally, the function will do the work and return the answer to you as a return type. Okay, the return type can be void or it can be integer, float, or something. And we can pass parameters to the function in two ways. And that only we are going to see first. Before that, let us see what all the parameters we have when we write programs with function. We have two types of parameters. One is known as actual parameters, which are the parameters used in the function call, and the other is known as formal parameter. They are the parameters used in the function definition. Now, let us see them with the help of a program. Actually, in this program, we are going to see what is the difference between call by value and call by address, which you have already studied in the first year, but we will see in detail in this class. Here you can see, I am writing a main function. Then before main function, I have written a function called a swap. So what I'm going to do in this program is, from the user, I will get two numbers and store them in the variables n1 and n2. You can look at the main function. I have declared two variables n1 and n2. From the user, I will get two numbers and store them in the variable n1 and n2. Then I will write one function to perform the swapping. The function should swap or exchange the values of n1 and n2. See the output here. I have given enter n1 and n2. n1 is 5, n2 is 6. After I execute the program, I have to get n1 as 6 and n2 as 5. So for that, I'm going to write a function. Okay. So now let us first focus on the function. Here the function name is swap. Okay. So now first we are going to see an approach known as call by value. So call by value is an approach which is used by default for normal data type. Let us see what is that. Here I have the function swap. I'm passing two arguments to the function n1 and n2. Here n1 and n2 are nothing but normal integer data types. When this function is called, the control will go to line number 2. Okay, in line number 2, you are getting two arguments n1 and n2. They are integer variables. So here also you have to declare two integer variables to store their value. So I am declaring two integer variables int a comma int b. Now in this function, I am going to exchange the values of a and b. If I want to exchange the values of a and b, I need one temporary variable. So I am creating int temp. First, whatever is the value of a, I am copying in temp. Then whatever is the value of b, I am storing it in a because a is now free. Then I am getting the value I stored previously in temp. I am assigning that to b. When you run this program, the values will be exchanged because that is the work of the function now. But now let us see what will happen when I run this program. Let us go to the next slide. Here, this approach is called as call by value. What is the meaning of call by value is, when the function is called, you can see here, when I call the function in the previous slide, when I call the function from line number 15, it will go to line number 2. What will happen in that case is, in line number 15, you are using n1 comma n2 as arguments to swap. In line number 2, you are using int a comma int b with swap. So when this statement is executed, what the compiler will do is, it will execute the statement int a is equal to n1, then int b is equal to n2, because n1 and n2 are nothing but you are using in the function call. But a and b are nothing but they are the variables used in the function definition. So when the function is called, the compiler will internally execute these two statements. What will happen when these statements are executed? Let us see with the help of a diagram. So now, First, let us assume that for n1, it has allocated some memory. In that memory, we have the value as 5. And for n2, I have allocated a memory. It is 2004. In that memory, we have a value as 6. Now I am executing the statement int a is equal to n1. When you execute this statement, this a is a variable of type integer. So now compiler will allocate memory for this a. Let us assume the memory allocated for a is starting with the address 3000. It will allocate either 2 bytes or 4 bytes depending upon your compiler. So here I am assuming that it has allocated 4 bytes with starting with the address 3000. Now the statement int a is equal to n1 will copy the value from n1 and store it in the variable a. So if you execute this statement, when I execute the statement int a is equal to n1, whatever is the value of n1, here value of n1 is 5, that 5 will be copied in a. Okay, then when I write int b is equal to n2, the compiler will allocate memory for b. Let us assume the allocated memory is 3004. Whatever is the value of n2, that will be copied in b. So the value of n2 here is 6. So 6 will be copied in b. Okay, so now this will be the initial thing. And inside the function, you are writing int temp. When this is executed, memory for temp will be created and that memory will have some garbage value. Okay, then I'm writing the statement temp is equal to a. So what will happen here is the value of a, that is 5, will be copied to temp. So here I will have 5 in temp. Then I write a is equal to b. Now the value of b, which is 6, will be stored in a. Now what is happening to a is previously it was 5, now it is changed to 6. Then when I write the statement b is equal to temp. Students, I am doing some changes in the blue box. Please follow that. Then I am writing the statement b is equal to temp. When I do that, you can see here temp is 5. Previously b was 6. When I write b is equal to temp, here temp will be copied to b. Now you can see whatever changes I have done, they are reflected in a and b. A and b are known as formal parameters. And this n1 and n2 are called as actual parameters. So now the changes have been done in the formal parameters. Okay, for the formal parameters, we have created separate memory locations. In that only we have done all the changes. Now, what has happened to the actual parameters? If you see in the memory of the actual parameters, no changes have been done. So they will have the same value 5 and 6. Whatever you have started with, that value will be available in n1 and n2. But you are doing some changes inside the function swap, but all these changes are reflected only in this memory that is allocated for the formal parameters. So because of that, now let us go to the program again. So when I run this program, when this closing parenthesis is encountered, control will come to swap again. Okay, now I am printing the answer. What I am printing is n1 and n2. Now, what is n1 and n2? It will go to this memory only. N1 is 5, n2 is 6. Again, same value. So, when you run this program, before swapping, n1 and n2 are 5. After you call swap function also, n1 and n2 are 5. So, you have called the function to do work. It has done the work, but the answer is not reflected in the main function. Okay, so why it has not reflected in the main function is you have passed the parameter n1 and n2, they are passed by value. This is called as call by value. Call by value means when you pass the functions by simply specifying the variable name, it is similar to call by value. In that case, the formal parameters are nothing but a new memory will be created for the formal parameters a and b, and whatever value you have passed in the actual parameter n1 and n2, they will be copied into the new memory of the formal parameters. Inside the function, whatever changes you are doing, they have been reflected only in the formal parameters, not in the actual parameters. Because of that only, we are not getting the answer in the main function. Okay, so this is called as call by value. You will go for call by value whenever you want to return something. Always remember, in call by value, if we return the answer, we will store the answer in the main function. Here I am not returning anything. My return type is void. Okay, I have done some changes, but the changes are not reflected in the main function. So this type of thing is called as call by value. Now, how to overcome this disadvantage? Suppose I want to reflect the changes in the calling function, that is the main function, then I have to go for approach known as call by address. Okay, so what is this call by address approach? Let us see. Try to understand the difference between value and call by address. Focus on the line number 15. In call by value, in line number 15, we have written swap of n1 comma n2. But here, you have to call the function by specifying the address. The name is call by address. I have to call somebody by specifying some address. Okay. So here, whom I am calling? The swap function. So what I have to specify to the function now? I should not specify only the name. I have to specify the address. So the name of the variable is n1 and n2. Now I have to call the function by specifying the address of n1 and n2. So to get the address of n1 and n2, we will use ampersand. So pass now ampersand n1 comma ampersand n2. So when this is executed, you are going to call the function swap by specifying the address. Now the control will go to line number 2. Since you are passing two addresses as argument, you have to store the address when you receive. So in which variable we can store the address? Only in a pointer variable. So what we have to do now is, here you should not declare the variables as normal variables int a comma int b, because we are passing the address. So how we have to declare the variable is, since we are passing the address, the variable must be declared as a pointer variable. So in the swap function, I am declaring now two pointer variables. Now, can I declare any pointer variable there? Can I write float star a comma float star b, or char star a comma char star b? No. Always, what is the address? What you are specifying some address here. The address is what type of data? You have to see. Now here I am setting the address of integer. Okay, so the pointer must also be of integer type. Okay, so declare two integer pointers now. Now inside temp, what will happen? That we will see along with the slide. Now remember these two lines. While calling, I am writing swap of ampersand n1 comma ampersand n2. Then in the function, I am writing int star a comma int star b. When the function is called, this ampersand n1 will be assigned to int star a, and ampersand n2 will be assigned to int star b. Now let us see what will happen with the help of the diagram. So in case of call by address, you can see here, in case of call by address, first we are going to call the function. When the function is called, it will execute the statement int star a is equal to ampersand n1 comma int star b is equal to ampersand n2. What is the meaning of this? So here, as we saw before, n1 and n2 are stored in the memory locations 2000 and 2004 respectively, and they are having values as 5 and 6. Now I am going to execute the statement int star a is equal to ampersand n1. Now it will create a pointer allocated memory for the pointer variable. Now what will be stored in that memory? Here you have given ampersand n1. That means whatever is the address of n1, here it is 2000, that will be stored in the pointer variable. After that, when the statement int star b is equal to n2 is executed, it will again allocate memory for one more pointer variable. Now here I am assuming that pointer variable is occupying 4 bytes. That's why I have written 3004. Okay, it is allocating memory for the pointer variable b, and in that, since I have given here ampersand n2, address of n2, which is 2004, will be stored. Okay, now let us see the body of the function. Inside the function swap, you have written 4 statements. The first statement is int temp. When this is executed, compiler will allocate memory for temp, which is of integer type. So it will allocate either 2 bytes or 4 bytes. Now let us assume the starting address is 3008. Okay, initially this 5 will not be there. It will have some garbage value. Okay, let me remove that so that you will understand. Okay, right. Now let us go to the function. First we are writing initially temp is having some garbage value. Now I execute the statement temp is equal to star a. What will happen here is, since I have given star a, first it will go to a. A is 2000. What is star a? To get star a, I have to go to the address 2000. So in the address 2000, I have the data as 5. Okay, you can see here data is 5. That 5 will be stored in temp. So temp is now having garbage value. Now I am going to store 5 in that because this statement is executed. In the next statement, I have star A is equal to star B. So first I have to go to B. Okay, B is 2004. Since star B is written, I have to go to this memory. I'm going to 2004. I'm taking the value from there. Value is 6. Now, star B is 6. That is in your hand. Where you have to store that in star A. What is star A? First go to A. A is 2000. Star A means you have to go to 2000. 2000 is now having the value as 5. Now here you have to store that 6. Are you able to see the track now? Previously it was 5. Now I stored 6 in that because star B is equal to star A. So in the memory itself, I am changing the value 6. When this statement is executed, both the memory locations 2000 and 2004 will have the value as 6. Okay. Now let us see the last statement. Here I am writing star B is equal to temp. So it will take temp in hand. Temp is 5. Now you need star B. What is star B? First go to B. B is 2004. Star B means go to 2004. Okay. 2004 is here. In this you have to store temp. Temp is 5. Store it here. Now you see what has happened. Previously 2000 was having the number as 5. 2004 had 6. Now we changed them in the memory location itself. Okay. In the call by value method, you have done the changes in the function, but the changes are reflected only in the formal parameters on the right hand side. But now you see in the right hand side formal parameter, we have the address only. No changes have been done here. Whatever changes we have done, all the changes have been reflected in the address of the actual parameter itself because we manipulated with the help of pointers. Now, let us see what will happen when we run this program. Come to this program, I explained everything. So when you call the function swap, the changes have been reflected in the actual parameter address itself. Okay, so now come to line number 16. In line number 16, you are printing N1 and N2. Now let us see what is N1 and N2. In the diagram I have explained, N1 and N2 have been changed now. N1 is 6 and N2 is 5. So when you print them, you will get the answer as N1 is 6 and N2 is 5. In call by value method, we got the same number only. Even though we called the function, we didn't get any changes in N1 and N2. But here in this, since you passed the arguments by address, the changes have been reflected in the address itself. So we got the work perfectly. There's a difference between call by value and call by address. So here in case of call by value, we are passing the value of the actual parameters, whereas in call by address, the address of the actual parameters are passed. That is the first difference. And the second difference is in call by value, the actual parameters are copied into formal parameters. Whatever is a value that we copied into formal parameter. And in the called function, the changes are done only in the formal parameters. Those changes are not reflected in the actual parameters. This is called as call by value. Whereas in call by address, in the called function, we have done changes, but the changes are done in the address of the actual parameter itself. So since you have done the changes in the address of the actual parameter, all the changes are reflected in the actual parameter in the main function also. Okay, so you should be now careful when you have to go for call by value or when you have to go for call by reference or call by address. Whenever you need to return multiple answers, okay, in case of return statement, you can return only one answer. Whenever you need to return multiple answers, you can go for call by address because when you do any changes, that will be reflected in the address itself. Okay, when you want to return only one answer, you do some computation, you return only one answer to the user. In that case, you can use the explicit return statement in your program and return the answer to you. In that case, you can go for call by value. Okay, so that we will see in detail later. So now try to understand that when you go for call by address, whatever changes you are doing in the function, called function, all the changes will be reflected in the calling function also. Now let us see the next topic. This is how to return multiple values from a function in C programming. See, how to return a function, how to return a value from a function. For that, we have some statement called as return statement. When you write a return statement, the function will return some answer to the calling function. Can you write a function with more than one return statement? Or can you return more than one value from a function? For example, can I write return a comma b, or can I write return a comma b comma c comma d? Is it possible? It is not at all possible. You can write return statement and you can return only one value from a function. You can't return more than one value. But if I want to return more than one value from a function, how it is possible? So you can't achieve that directly with the help of return statement. You can achieve indirectly by using three methods. The methods are either by using pointers you can achieve, or you can use structures to store all the answer and return the answer, or you can use array to store all the changes and return that. Okay, these are the three different approaches we have to return more than one value from a function. In this class, we are going to focus on the first method by using pointers. So you can return multiple values from a function, but not directly. By using the concept of pointers, you can return. That we will see now. So how to do that? If I want to return multiple values from the function using pointers, what are all the steps I have to follow? The first step is when you call the function, in the calling function, you pass the argument with address. Just now we saw we have two approaches in passing the calling the function, call by value or call by address. When you want to return more than one value from a function, you call the function by means of address. Don't call by value, call by address. Then in the called function, since you are passing the address, you declare the receiving arguments as pointers. Okay, then do all the changes with the help of the pointers in the address itself. That means whenever you do any change in the address itself, it will be reflecting in the calling function also. Okay, so by this way, you can indirectly return more than one value from the function. How I am returning is, I am doing all the changes in the address itself. Since I am doing all the changes in the address itself, wherever I am accessing the address, I'll be getting all the changes done there. So it is way of returning multiple answers to the calling function. Okay, so now let us see this with the help of a program. Try to understand the important points. When you want to return more than one answer from a function, pass address of the variables where you want the answer as the argument. Okay, now let us focus on the program. Here in this program, I am going to find maximum of two numbers using function. Okay, so my input is x comma y. X and y contains two numbers. I want to find which is maximum and which is minimum. For that, I am going to write the function. And finally, the maximum and minimum I need to store in two variables, max and min. So x and y contains my input, but max and min contains my output. Okay. Now try to get the value of x and y from the user. After that, concentrate here. Max and min is the function I have written for doing the work. I need to call the function. How many arguments I have to pass to this function? This is very, very important. So far, your input is x and y. Generally, what we will do, we will pass only x and y to this function. That will find the answer. By return statement, it will return the answer. But now you should not do like that. Pass your input x and y. In addition to that, you need to pass the address of your output. Okay, our output is nothing but max and min. We want max and min to be stored in these variables. So you pass the address of those two variables as arguments to the function. So the extra arguments are now ampersand max comma ampersand min. Why I am passing here is because of this address only, I will be getting multiple answers written from the function. Okay, so don't pass without address. Pass the address of the answers as arguments to the function. Now x and y are passed by value, max and min are passed by address. Now let us go to the function and see. You can see here from the function, I am not returning anything. Void type is going to tell you that the return is nothing. The function is not going to return anything. But the question is return more than one value from the function. But the void is the return type. Then how it is returning more than one value? That is, all the changes have been done only in the address. Okay, that is the meaning of returning more than one value. You will not see any return statement here. but all the changes are done in the address itself. Now look at the arguments. We have 4 arguments. Since we passed x and y as call by value, here I am going to simply write int a comma int b. Okay, whereas in the next arguments I have passed the address. Since I have passed the address, I have to declare 2 pointer variables here, because in pointers only we can store the address. So I am declaring 2 pointer variables, int star max1 comma int star min1. Now inside the function you are going to find the minimum number and maximum number and store it in the appropriate answer. Here first I have a and b. A and b are passed by value only, so you can simply check if a is greater than b. If a is greater than b, a is a maximum number and b is a minimum number. So you have to store them in the answer. Okay, here this is the variable for the answer. You store there. So a is the maximum number. I am going to store that in the variable max1. But what is max1? This is a pointer variable. Okay, so you have to store a in the address pointed by max1. Okay, max1 will contain the address. You go to the address and put the answer there. So I want to change in the address pointed by max1. Okay, so I am writing now star max1. If you write only max1, you are going to change the address. I'm not going to change the address. I have to go to the address. In that address, I have to put this as a maximum number. So I am writing star max1 is equal to A. Similarly, you write star min1 is equal to B, because when A is greater than B, A is a greater number, B is a smaller number. So you update here. Else means A is a smaller number and B is a greater number. So again you change star max1 is equal to B, star min1 is equal to B. Now, when this work is done, all the answer will be reflected in the memory itself. Okay, since the answer is reflected in the memory, no need to return any value from the function. So we are writing the return type as void. Now, when you come back, the control will come back to line number 20. In the variable max and min. So I need to simply print them. So I am printing the answer as maximum number is max, minimum number is min. Since I have passed the address of max and min, all the changes have been done in the address, so I can get the correct answer there. So when you print the answer, you will be getting the answer as whichever is the maximum number, here it is 200, that will be printed, and minimum will be printed as 100. Okay, so this is a way to return more than one value from a function using the concept of pointers. Suppose if I want to return 5 value from a function using pointers, what you will do? See, actually the simple method is you pass all the 5 answers by means of address. Okay, simple answer is pass all the 5 numbers by means of address. And the other way is using array, that already we have seen in all the sorting algorithms. Let us move on to the next topic, functions returning pointers. So what is the meaning of functions returning pointers? Every function will return some answer. If it is not returning any answer, you will write the return type as void. Okay, so now let us see what is the meaning of functions returning pointers. You look at this function. Here the return type is written as, see the line number 2, I have written the return type as int star. So what is int star? It's nothing but integer pointer. Star is going to tell you pointer. So this function is not returning simple integer, instead it is returning integer pointer. So what is the meaning of returning a pointer? Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of returning a pointer? Will it return some
return
address?
The address.
Very good.
Return the address.
Yes, return the address. So when you have returning a pointer, remember that function will return only the address where your answer is available. It will not return the answer itself. It will return some address. You have to go to the address to fetch your answer. Okay, this is a concept. Now let us focus on the program to understand. I have written this program to find the maximum of 2 numbers. Okay, so I want to find one answer only. Maximum of 2 numbers is only one answer. So I am getting my input and storing the input in 2 variables x and y. They contain 2 numbers. I have to find which number is maximum out of these 2. Now what I am going to do is I am going to call the function max to find which is the maximum number. To this function, I am going to pass the address of x and y. Okay, I am passing the address of x and y to this function. Don't pass by value. Whenever you want to return pointers from a function, you pass the address of the arguments. Don't call by value. So I am passing address of x and y. So when this line is executed, control will go to line number 2. Now, how to declare the argument? Since the arguments are passed by address, you have to receive them in a pointer variable. So I am declaring 2 pointer variables, int star a comma int star b. Don't write simply as int a comma b, you will get error. Okay, because you are passing address, store the answer in 2 pointer variables. Now, what I'm going to do in the function? I need to return the address of maximum number. Okay, in this question, I am returning a pointer. Focus here. I am returning a pointer. That means I am returning address of something. Address of what you are returning? Address of a maximum number. So how to find a maximum number? Here, A and B are pointers. They contain the address. You go to the address and see the value. Okay, see which value is greater. So I am writing if star A greater than star B. Why I am writing star A here is A is having only address. You need to check the value at that address. So write star A. If star A is greater than star B, then what is the meaning is in the memory pointed by A, you have the larger number. Okay, now you need to return that address only. Don't return the value, return that address. So if star A is greater than star B, I am writing return A. Concentrate here, I am not writing return star A. I am writing return A. What is there in A? It has only the address. Okay, star A contains the data, but A contains the address. So I am returning only the address. Else my larger number is available in the address pointed by B. So I have to return the address only. So I am returning return B. Okay, so in both the cases, I am not returning any answer directly. I am returning the address where the answer is available. Okay, so the return type here is int star. Star is going to tell you that you are returning the address. Now, when this closing parenthesis is encountered in line number 12, control will come to line number 18. Okay, now you see something is returned to you. When something is returned to you, you have to catch it and store it in some variable. Now, function will return address of the largest number 729. But we want to print the 729, the number 729. It is returning you address of the number. First, you have to catch it and store it in a variable. So it is returning you address of 729. Where you can store that address? You cannot store the address in a normal data variable. Since it is returning address to you, you store the address in a pointer variable. So for that, I have to declare this res as a pointer variable. Focus here in line number 15, I have declared res as a pointer variable. Okay, there only I have to write the answer. Okay, don't declare this res as normal variable because what you are getting from the function is address. You can store the address only in a pointer variable. So I am declaring res as a pointer variable. Now, where is my answer available? It is not directly available. Res contains address of the answer. I need the answer itself. So I have to print the answer as star res. Okay. So res is nothing but address of my answer, but I want the answer itself. So I have to go to that address and take the value at that address. So I have to write star of res. So what is the gist of this particular program is we have written the program to return a pointer. Returning pointer means in the return type you have to write int star or float star, whatever may be, a star should be in the return type. Okay, and remember, since you are writing something, since you are returning something, there must be a return statement in your program. Don't write without return statement because here return type is not void. So there must be a return statement. And what you have to return in that statement is you have to return some address only. You should not return a value. You have to return some address. So here, since you want to return some address, you have to declare those variables as a pointer variable. Because of that only, here the arguments are pointer variables because you are returning the address. Okay, and since these arguments here are pointer variables, When you call the function, you will be specifying the address of your input. So here ampersand x and y are given as arguments. Returning you the address where your answer will be available. So you catch that and store it in a variable. That variable must be declared as a pointer variable. And finally, your answer you have to print. For that, you get the value at this pointer variable. For that, I am writing star res. Okay.